Good morning, CMSW. Today, April 15th, marks the 110th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic.
On April 10, 1912, the RMS Titanic left its port in Southampton, England, and began the transatlantic journey to New York City in the United States.
The RMS Titanic, an ocean liner commissioned in England in 1910, was one of the most luxurious, state-of-the-art ships of its day.
At nearly 882 feet long, the ship was thought to be unsinkable. However, on April 15, 1912, the unthinkable happened. During the ship's maiden voyage from Southampton, England to New York City, New York, the Titanic struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada, and sank.
Tragically, this took the lives of more than 1,500 passengers and crew. It was and remains one of the greatest nautical disasters in history.
The Titanic lay undiscovered at the bottom of the ocean for another 73 years, until National Geographic explorer-in-residence Dr. Robert Ballard co-discovered it in 1958.
Since then, there have been many expeditions to see the Titanic, some for scavenging, others for research. Some expeditions are conducted by people who simply continue to be fascinated by the ship and its icy fate.
The story of the Titanic continues to captivate people, inspiring films, clubs, museums, websites, and historic reenactments.
One question everyone has is, what happened to make the unsinkable sink go down?
One reason? The ship's design. The Titanic had 16 watertight compartments, and the ship could stay afloat with up to 4 of these compartments flooded.
But after hitting the iceberg, water began flooding the Titanic's forward 6 compartments.
The bulkheads, watertight walls in the compartments meant to keep water from flooding the rest of the ship, were not tall enough to contain the water in the damaged compartments.
In just over 2.5 hours, the Titanic filled with water and sank.
On the deck, the Titanic's crew helped passengers into lifeboats. The Titanic had only 20 lifeboats rather than the 48 that would have been necessary to save all the people on board.
The Titanic's owners thought that having that many lifeboats would make people believe the ship was unsafe. More people could have survived if the original number of lifeboats had been aboard.
Because of the lack of lifeboats, hundreds of people were thrown into the icy cold Atlantic water and died of hypothermia.
While it was sinking, the Titanic radioed to other ships in the area, but was only able to reach the RMS Carpathia, which was 58 miles away.
The Carpathia arrived about 4 hours later, at 4 a.m., to rescue the estimated 705 survivors.
On 3rd September 1985, the ship's wreckage was discovered 12,500 feet below the ocean, about 370 miles off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada.
The joint U.S.-French team that discovered the ship was led by former U.S. Navy officer Robert Ballard.
Since 1987, a private American company called RMS Titanic Inc. has salvaged more than 5,000 artifacts from the Titanic. These relics include everything from pieces of the hull to china.
Some Titanic artifacts have fetched thousands of dollars through auctions. One of the rare finds was a violin played by the ship's bandmaster, who famously played it as the ship sank. It sold for $1.7 million.
10 years ago, in 2012, Ms. Scheffler's 6th grade advisory created a big Titanic experience in the media center.
The show included a stop-action movie with commentary and a reenactment from Captain Edward Smith, who went down with the ship.
There was also a performance by Titanic survivor, unsinkable Molly Brown.
Ms. Scheffler's advisory also constructed a huge cardboard model of the Titanic striking a styrofoam iceberg.
Since we can never get enough Titanic, current Westies created a display in front of the case during many wind sessions. This one shows a unique view of the ship right before it went down to the bottom of the ocean.
Still can't get enough Titanic? See Ms. Scheffler for books on the ill-fated ship.
And have your advisor check out the additional Titanic link on the advisory calendar.
That's it for today, Westies, except for this announcement from Mr. Leonard.
Attention 8th graders, are you interested in playing football at Chanhassen High School next year?
Then you should attend the informational meeting led by Coach Nelson on Monday, April 18th during wind time in room 121.
This wind session will be under Mr. Leonard's name, okay?
Bye, Westies. We're saying goodbye to the Titanic for now, but we will be back next week with another morning show.
Yes, our hearts will go on after learning that Jack and Rose from the movie Titanic are 100% fictional.
Oops, you didn't know that? Spoiler alert. But even if they were real, first-class passengers never mixed with third-class passengers on the Titanic. It wasn't allowed.
Advisors, please show the extra Titanic link in the advisory calendar.
Bye.
Bye.